Hey, this is Ben Ingram from the Atlanta Braves Radio Network, and it's time to go riding with the Braves, presented by Chevrolet. CEOs are joining us today. Another episode of Riding with the Braves, and riding with us today, Grant Holmes. Good to have you with us today, man. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Very
Thank you
good.
for having me.
Absolutely. We're rolling today in the Chevy Blazer EV, and this is a learning experience for the both of us because neither one of us have driven around in an electric vehicle before. But this thing's really nice. They say it's got 324 miles of range, and this thing's got the humongous display here, and AC works, so we're good to go. It's a nice little rig, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I like this
like
thing.
it.
Nice and quiet. I think we can sneak up on anybody in this thing. This is
Yeah.
really nice. What a whirlwind this has been for you this summer. I mean, coming into spring training, if I had told you at spring training how things would go over the course of this season, and you'd be not only in the big leagues, but getting some starts in the big leagues, what would your response to that have been?
Probably you're crazy. But you know, it's been great. Like I can't thank the Braves enough for the position they've let me fill for the team. You know.
Yeah. Well, and you grew up where? In South Carolina, right?
Yep. Myrtle Beach.
So you grew up watching some Braves games? Did you grow up coming to Braves games?
Myrtle Beach Pelicans, actually.
Yeah.
I grew up watching, Freeman and Hayward hit balls into the batting cages back there in right field. So, yeah, it's always been a childhood dream to play for the Braves. So, pretty surreal.
Yeah, I bet it is. And growing up, I mean, you obviously baseball is your passion. Your brother played too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And tell me about that dynamic between the two of you and how that pushed you and how that made you even more competitive, I'm sure.
I think my mom said, because my brother was he's 6 years older, so he was playing baseball when I was born. So I think my mom said I was at a baseball field, I don't know, heck, maybe the second or third day of my life. So, I mean, I've grown up in it, and I've always been at the baseball field, and here we are.
It's probably, I mean, I'm sure at some point there comes a time where you think, okay, this is what I'm going for. But at the same time, if you've been doing it your entire life, it's almost like, well, yeah, I'm pursuing baseball. Well, it kind of goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of crazy to even think about, where I started and where I am now. And, it's kind of hard to think into the future, but, if all works out, it's going to be a crazy story.
Yeah, it already is a great story. I want to go back to you being drafted, and you're a first-round pick of the Dodgers. What were your options like at that point when it came to going to play for professionally or college, and how all that went about in your decision for that?
I got obviously drafted in the first round by the Dodgers. Me and my agent, we put out a number, and that was our asking, and the Dodgers accepted that. So it was like, it was a no-brainer to go play pro ball.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the team, the MLB, I guess they do like a college, like after you get done playing or whenever you want to start college, they have this little program in place that they'll pay for your college.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not getting a full ride at Florida, so why not go and pursue my dream? And then later on, I'll have that option to go to college if need be or want.
Right.
So, I mean, it was kind of like a no-brainer.
And you go and you start into their system, and at the time, I mean, you're pursuing being a starter, correct?
Yes.
And how did that go about when it came to, because I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. You're a first-round pick. You're thinking you got to get to the big leagues within a few seasons, and it doesn't work that way for everybody. And looking at your path now, it's great that it's taken place the way that it has, but I'm sure that there was some really tough times when it came to trying to fulfill those expectations early on in your career.
Absolutely. First year was kind of an adjustment, being away from home, living on my own I think I was 18 years old.
Right.
Living in a hotel, in Arizona. But the first year was a learning experience, and thankfully I got moved up one level, so I got to experience they don't have it now, but it was the Advanced Rookie Ball League, and the Pioneer League over there, and we were in Ogden, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of
Long way from South Carolina.
Yeah, very long way. And we, it was a good learning experience. Then the next year was a really good year for me in low A, and then I heard all the crazy things about the Cal League, like how the ball flies, and it's just another thing that put in the back of your head. So I had an okay year there, and then at the end of the year, or not the end of the year, I think it was August. I think that was the trade deadline. I got traded, and it was a weird feeling, and I just was a little out of place. Didn't start off too hot, and kind of didn't exceed some expectations, and kind of started going backwards in a sense, but still learning.
Mm-hmm.
And the next year I started in Double A, and then again I started off kind of not too good.
Which is the life of a pitcher.
Yeah, is exactly
good days
right.
and bad days.
Yep, I had more bad than good, but the All-Star break hit, and I was like, man, I gotta change something. So I just started going out there and just pitching instead of trying to throw, and ended up with like a low 4 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that year was probably one of my definitely. I think I had my highest strikeouts that season. Yeah, and then the next year I get hurt, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
that stinks.
Can't catch a break.
Yeah, I had a few outings in high A at the end of the year, like a little rehab, and then 2019 I started off in Double A because I was I obviously didn't play the year before, so they didn't want to stick me in Triple A. And I pitched really well. Got called up at the end of the year, or called up to Triple A, and threw a couple pretty good outings in Triple A, and then obviously 2020 the world came to an end. It felt like.
Yeah.
Was at the alt site, didn't get a chance there, and 21 was one of the toughest years of my career with starting and all that. Got moved to the bullpen while I was on the 40-man. That was kind of crappy.
Yeah. Oh, and you're trying. I'm sure that seemed foreign too. I mean, you're trying to tell me what you want me to do. Let me have a role. Let me be comfortable. Let me work on that. And you go from first round pick to and like you said, you're far from home. You're traded, trying to learn everything in a brand new organization. Move to the bullpen, up and down in the minor leagues. COVID hits. Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of turmoil.
Yeah.
I mean, so just to have the opportunity, and I think that's why it's great that you were given an opportunity with the Braves. And don't let me speak for you, but it seems like that was the first time in your career that you felt some stability.
Absolutely.
And you're able to, okay, I can handle this. Let me work, and they let you do that. And look what happened.
Exactly. And from 21, I actually pitched really well out of the bullpen. Didn't get called up. 22, had a tough spring. Got DFA'd. Cleared, outrighted, went to AAA. In the bullpen, wasn't pitching well. Made a couple spot starts because we needed some guys or some starters. So, I think whenever the draft happened, how they condensed the rosters.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the guys that got released because of that. And a few weeks later, the Braves picked me up, and it's a different story.
Yeah.
I learned a lot in the first 2 weeks I was down there in Florida, and I just took it and ran with it.
Here's what's amazing to me, and this is a quote that you had 2-3 weeks ago, because I think about all that, ups and downs, more downs than ups.
Yes.
And a lot of turmoil. I think a lot of people hearing that on surface level would say, okay, at what point just throw your hands up in the air and say it's time for me to do something else? But I don't think that ever crossed your mind. Mm-hmm. You made the comment that they're going to have to rip this jersey off my back for me to quit playing baseball. So in the face of all that, it would have been very easy to feel sorry for yourself, but your love for the game never waned, and you still want to go out there for the next opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, there were some long dark nights in 21 and 22 in those hotel rooms, but It was just more of like, what can I do? Like, what am I doing wrong? It was never, man, I don't feel like I can play this.
Mm-hmm.
It was always, what can I do to get better? What am I doing wrong? And it was never, I think this is probably it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably baseball telling me it's my time to, hang it up. But that never crossed my mind, and I stuck it out. And thankfully for my wife, she was a pretty good stepping stone for me.
She was a rock for you, wasn't
she? She kept my head on right, and always encouraged me, even when I was probably not the person that needed the not needed, but wanted the encouragement.
Sure.
But yeah, thankfully to her that she's probably one of the main ones that kept my head on right.
And now you get to enjoy the spoils of all that, and that
Exactly.
ability to stick with it. You get the phone call this year that you're coming up to the big leagues. Tell me about that moment for you this year.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was supposed to start that Father's Day again, because we had the end of the 6 games. Started that Monday or Tuesday.
In Gwinnett.
Yep, and I was supposed to start again on Sunday, and they called a team meeting, which I thought was kind of weird, because we got a day game the next day.
Yeah.
I get out of the field and get home and get some sleep, and we were just sitting there, and text came in, manager, and he said, everybody knows what day it is tomorrow. It's Father's Day, so I'm going to need a father to start the game tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not a father. And he said, because Grant's getting called up to the big leagues. I just, still get chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was just a surreal moment. Been waiting for that phone call for, heck, 10 and a half years, it feels like.
Yeah.
And it finally happened. And I honestly didn't know how to act. All my teammates were super excited for me because they obviously know my story, and it was just a really special moment, and I'll never forget it.
Well, let me just tell you my perception. You tell me if this is spot on or not, because you get that phone call, and after 10 years in the minor leagues, it would be easy to come up and say, I'm just happy to be here. And maybe there's some of that. But on the outside looking in, my observation is there was some moment where you said, okay, I'm finally getting my opportunity. I'm going to do this my way. Because you've come up, you have never looked nervous. You're throwing strikes. You're not falling behind. You've always looked composed. And it almost looks like you came to a conclusion where you said, you know what? I've been doing this for 10 and a half years. I'm finally getting my shot. I'm doing this on my terms. I'm going to do this the way that I want to do it. And I'm going to handle this the way that I want to handle it. How much of that is accurate? Because that's the perception that I have just watching you come up and seeing the way you've handled being in the big leagues, because it doesn't look like a typical rookie.
Yeah, I think the 10 years has helped me. I've been, like you said, more downs than ups, and it's helped me, I think, with my composure, and just I've pretty much faced, pretty much the best of the best. The guys that are in AAA that are really good, but they have somebody in front of them in the big leagues, and it's like, in the PCL, I've pretty much done everything you can as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Giving up the win, blowing a save, this and that. I've pretty much done it all.
Pretty seasoned.
Exactly. So I think it's helped get to the point I'm at now, and just it's just I go out there and I just try to throw strikes. I'm not trying to do anything special or trying to throw as hard as I can. Obviously, I try to do that every once in a while, but I'm just trying to get outs as quick as possible.
Well, it's been so much fun to watch, knowing your story, and on top of that, it's like you can throw whatever you want at Grant.
Yep.
Start him, relieve him, long relief. It doesn't matter. It seems like you just give me the ball, and I'm going to go out there and throw strikes.
Yep, just give me the ball. And obviously, like the minors, I've started, I've closed, middle relief, long relief,
Do you like it all? Is there one you like more than the others?
I mean, I always told my wife and my parents when I was coming up and, kind of struggling in the PCL, I was like, I either want to be a starter or a closer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, now it's like that was in the minor leagues. I'm in the big leagues now, and whenever they give me the ball, I'm ready to roll. It doesn't matter what role it is.
Yeah, that's really cool, and a great mentality to have. All right, let's switch it up a little bit. At what point, how many years ago did you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna just let this hair go. I'm gonna have this thing grow and see what it looks like?
It was 2017. I started letting it grow because I had a person when I was with the Dodgers that would cut my hair, and in 2017, I started letting it grow, and I was like, man, I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just slowly, starting to like it even more and more and more, and I got past that weird, kind of awkward stage of my hair like growing out, and it kind of started falling.
Uh-huh.
So, I said, I'm just gonna let it keep it going, and my wife liked it, so
as long as she likes it.
Yeah, as long as she likes it,
So what's the maintenance like now? Just a trim here every now and then?
Yeah, I gotta trim every now and again. My wife will do it, and then my mother-in-law, when we go to Illinois, they're in off-season, she'll trim it a couple of times, and that's pretty much
let it go. Yeah, a little product, make sure it doesn't frizz, and that's it, right?
Yep, exactly.
That's great.
A lot of products.
That's great. Well, tell me about your family. I know you mentioned your brother, but I'm sure this season's been amazing. You've mentioned your wife, but how about your parents and everybody together and your whole support group, and how that's impacted them this season, you being in the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's super, super excited, whole town of Conway, I mean, it's a little small town, everybody's, pulling for me, and it's I feel like that's helping a lot with my performance and my my desire to be out there, because it feels like whenever you have a little town behind your back, everybody's rooting for you,
keeps you grounded too,
exactly.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a great feeling, knowing you have more than just your family and a couple friends supporting you. Like I got people that I don't even know, like commenting and posting about me and stuff like that, and they're from Conway. It's it's really cool to be able to not support, but like represent.
Yes.
Little hometown.
And they're so proud of you.
Exactly, and it's just a great feeling.
What's that drive like from Conway to Atlanta? Well, how far is that?
5.5 hours. So.
Not too bad.
One night we had probably, I think it was the last homestand we were here. I left probably 6 or 7 tickets.
Right.
And then I had probably 25 or 30 other people that bought tickets that were from Conway or the Horry County area.
What percentage of the town's population is that?
I think there's probably 25,000 people
in
Conway, which is not too small.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously grown over the years, but it's not a huge city like Atlanta.
Right.
But I feel like it's been special seeing people that have supported me in my whole career, but obviously kind of got lost in the flow of things because of the long journey I had. But it's nice seeing people that have always supported me when I first started.
Will you go back there for your off seasons? You live there in the off season?
Yep, we live there. I'll probably always call Conway home.
Yeah.
So we'll always have a place in Conway.
What's that off season look like for you? Hunt much?
Oh yeah, do a lot of hunting. We actually go up to Illinois, my wife's to in-laws, and we'll stay there for a month, which is
that's great.
In November, so it's prime hunting time. And then I'll come back home and I'll do a little bit of hunting because our season ends January 1st. So I pretty much hunting and throwing baseballs, working out.
It's not a bad little life, is it?
No, not at all.
How'd you meet your wife?
I actually met her at a gym. She was going to Coastal, which is a college down there, and I guess it's like the Carolina Forest, Conway area. and she was an instructor at the gym, and I met her at the gym.
You just approached her in the gym?
Yep, asked her on a date.
Attaboy.
And the rest is history.
I mean, how could she say no, right?
She actually did not know who I was, so I felt like that was a good sign.
Yeah, that is great. Well, it's amazing too. When I hear your story, this is hard. Baseball is hard. Coming up through the minor leagues is tough. And I mean, I've watched so many players do it. I broadcasted in the minor leagues and watched players in that journey, and some guys never make it. And for the guys that do, I feel like one common denominator is when you're going through those tough days in the minor leagues, everybody's going through doubts of, is my stuff going to play in the big leagues? Am I actually going to be good enough? And the common denominator is everybody has such a great support system, whether it be family members, a wife, a girlfriend, a best friend, whomever. And it seems like there are other people around that help carry that load for guys. And I think that must be 100% the case with you, to spend 10 years in the minor leagues. That's a lot of bus rides. And like you mentioned, a lot of nights where you're trying to think, all right, what is this going to be worth it in the end?
Yep, exactly. My wife she started traveling with me. We started dating in end of 2016, so she was with me from 2017 on.
Right.
And
she was there for all of it.
Pretty much, yeah. She was there for more of the downs than the ups. So, yeah, having her with me and, keeping me, a little sane was a big part in my success later on in my career, for sure.
With where you are right now and thinking about what's taking place this summer, tell me about some of your favorite moments that you've experienced at the big league level this year.
My third outing against the Yankees, facing Soto and Judge, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually breaking Judge's bat and then him sending it over the next day was.
You got the broken bat?
Yeah, we got
that's
I got
awesome.
the broken bat, and he wrote a little note on it. He said, "Take it easy on me next time." And I was like, "Man, this is insane."
Yeah.
Seeing all the stadiums too. Like, I think, Yankee Stadium was my first road trip.
What a way to break in.
Yeah. So I mean, that one's gonna be hard to top. And just seeing all the new cities and all the things that the city has to offer, and shops and the views. Like, we were just in LA.
Yeah.
That place was, I've never stayed at a more scenery spot than
Yeah.
that
I
place
can't think of another place where I've wanted to spend more time outside of my room than in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
You have those views of the cliffs and everything, and I think that's amazing. An amazing aspect of what it is that we do is because you're good at baseball, you get to go see all these things.
Yeah,
and so
it's insane.
Really is an amazing perk of the job, isn't it?
It is. It's almost kind of backwards. It's like you get to play this sport for a living, and you also get to see all the nice, fancy things.
Yeah.
It feels like me spending all my time in the minor leagues. I feel like the minor leaguers should see that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess when you make it, and you get all the luxury and all the things that come with it.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is.
It's a great group that this team has, and man, I think about the job that this team has done on the mound this year, from the rotation to the guys out of the bullpen, and you've done both of those things this season. Tell me about some of the guys that you've enjoyed spending time around and guys that you've gained some wisdom from in your time here in the big leagues.
It's Chavi really helped me out a lot in the beginning, learning the ropes and the things to do, like the warming up and staying ready during the game. You never know when your phone's gonna call or phone's gonna ring for your name, and he's really helped me out with that. Just honestly just sitting back and watching Sale, Morton, Schwelly even this year.
Yeah.
Freed, watching those guys go about their business. Obviously Lope as well. It's just such a learning experience just watching those guys go about it. I think the biggest one was when we were in San Francisco and I had that start, I think the third game, watching those guys, do what they did, kind of encouraged me to, want to kind of try and do what they did, go deep in the game, save the bullpen. And I think just watching them do their thing
Motivates you, doesn't it?
Yeah, motivates me and help me to, be successful.
Well, we've seen a lot of success out of you, man, and I know there's a lot more coming your way. Been a lot of fun, whether it's been in a starting role, long relief, towards the back end of the bullpen. It's been awesome, and we're thrilled to have you here. And thanks so much for the ride along today.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Grant Holmes.